on. Although you did
Yeah,
buy the Link camera, so.
Oh boy, boobs. But the
Pie, 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 pie.
anytime this is why I can't.
I'm gonna get you out of there. You don't belong in there.
Okay, so if you watch my part 1 of the Lauren Southern versus quartering video, I made it very clear and indicated in the description and in the in the title and description that this was not about Jeremy Hambley. That part 1 was just background relaying all the stuff from the article before we get into Jeremy Hambley shit. So I'd like to apologize to anyone that was expecting anything Jeremy Hambley related. Part 2 will be about Jeremy Hambley completely, because I'm right there at the spot. So that further ado's, let us get into it. Okay, so a circus. So I left off of a circus. Okay, we talking about how much of an over-the-top, ridiculous event that AmFest is, and I'm sorry, it is an absolutely ridiculously disgusting, over-the-top event. And seeing some things described at AmFest is pretty corny, and there are reasons why people are calling out the way that AmFest has treated. And I've always said, listen, they're gonna do it anyways. So I said people complaining about this are kind of being naive to not know that they were gonna do this regardless. And Charlie will probably tell them, make the fucking money. You gotta do what you gotta do. I know that sounds cruel to say, but Charlie Kirk cares about making money for his family and cares about making money to keep his product going. So even I know he would sit there and actually probably say, do what you got to do. I don't think it's right. I don't. But unfortunately, that is the way. But even I gotta say, come on, dude, have some bit more class. Jesus Christ. But enough talking about that. Let's talk about the actual circus here, the real circus. Oh, Jeremy. Oh my God. What the fuck is this? What is this? What is this? Hamboy. And speaking of circuses, and my unfortunate tendency towards personal distractions, of course there had to be a few familiar acts. Time practically slowed to a crawl when I spotted the quartering Jeremy Hambley tucked into a teeny blue booth in the far back corner of the vendor hall, just mocking him, saying, "Look how far you've fallen, you big dummy." Live streaming with a few women I vaguely recognized from the internet, including one of Tim Pool's rotating co-hosts. Hannah Claire Brimelow is what she's talking about. That's who. Free Hannah Claire has been successful, by the way, if anyone wants to know. She is officially off the show right now. He made up some bullshit excuse about, oh, maternity leave. Yeah, that's why she's making content on her own channel right now. Shut the fuck up, Jeremy. No, she's gone. She's not going to deal with the heat. She's smart, and she's getting out of there. Smart move by Hannah Claire. I know we've been hard on her, but, you know, at the end of the day, she hasn't said anything, and she hasn't really made a point to defend Jeremy. So there's not much you can sit there and make A-log material off of. Like, everyone can sit there and talk all the shit they want, but Hannah Claire has not been really touched by any of this, and I think that's the best way to handle it. And as much as I want to criticize her for the fact she stuck around this long, I have to understand it's a terrible position to be in. So I'm willing to have grace about this. If she never comes back, I'm willing to have grace about this and to understand that she made the right decision. So I'm not going to criticize her. In watching them, I was suddenly struck by how bizarre the entire ecosystem had become. Most of these podcast co-hosts exist almost exclusively as human laugh tracks. Yep. And hype men for the main personality. I'm genuinely not convinced many of them could survive pushing back in any meaningful way against the low-effort headline slop content strategy most right-wing podcasts have evolved into. Jeez, this is like Triple P must. I know Triple P was like laughing his ass off at this, but you got to understand, this is some of the best commentary I've actually heard about these type of podcasts. Because she's right. And it's not about just right wing. It's not all podcasts. It's all the same shit. That's why I've basically just not cared, man. I basically just don't watch these people. It's all the same garbage. I've done both Jeremy's and Tim's shows. No one on these shows does any real preparation before going live. This is true. No articles sent beforehand. This is also true. No research packets. What the fuck is a research packet to these people? There's a research packet? Ha! Everyone just sits in a circle trying to improvise entertaining reactions using the roughly 1% knowledge they possess on any given topic. You see, the thing is, I will tell you guys if I've not watched a video. I will tell you guys I've not done anything beforehand, and then I go into it, because my channel is supposed to be live reaction to the idea of I don't know what's coming, right? But you want to know, I mostly do watch my shit beforehand. I mostly do watch this content and these videos beforehand. I even make videos beforehand, then do the live stream after I've already made my points to enhance my points, right? That's how it's supposed to me be done, and I don't get paid for this shit. I'm not professional. See, I can afford to get away with that because I'm not professional. I don't get paid. I'm a small channel. We're building something here, but it's going to take a while to build anything substantial. As where all these other channels, you're built, you're made up, and you have thousands of subscribers, and this is the effort you put in, this low-grade fucking garbage. This is how you fucking do a job? It's humiliating. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Anyways. Oh my god, sorry about that. It's supposed to show, I'm sorry, I'm a screensaver. I'm going to fix that in the settings in a minute after I'm done with this video. I apologize. You can literally watch everyone performing, okay, using the same roughly, blah, 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 supplemented by frantic Googling on their phones whenever the camera cuts away from them. Cuts away? How generous you give them that, madam. They don't wait for the camera to cut away. The fuck? You can literally watch everyone performing the same exhausted mental gymnastics between topic changes. She's gashing this show right away. She's gashing the quartercast. Sorry. Every story gets discussed for about 2 to 5 minutes. I mean, I guess you could say she's gashing Tim Pool, but she's really gashing Jeremy, bro. Gashing him. Before everyone collectively moves on to the next outrage pellet. When I was younger, I barely questioned any of this. Of course not. When you're young, you're a genius. And when you avoid thinking too hard about anything, you get to remain a genius indefinitely. But as I got older and as the consequences of this ecosystem started to affect me, started affecting me personally, it became impossible to ignore how psychologically corrosive this entire content machine really was. And yes, obviously I'm selfish too. Most people only Most people only fully understand systemic dysfunction once it starts humiliating them specifically. I wrote extensively about this in my book. Of course, you guys show the book. I get it. Show your book, baby. But honestly, publishing it only gave me an even clearer front row seat to the machine in action. Most of This Is Not Real Life, her book, was about social media, ego corruption, fame, loneliness, manipulation, undercover operatives, love. And what is this book? And the spiritual consequences of living online. I gotta read this book. But naturally, the internet focused almost exclusively on anything involving sex. Well, anyways, particularly the section discussing Andrew Tate's assault on me. I'm not going to relitigate the entire thing again because I've already written enough Substacks about it to qualify for a psychological warfare compensation. Nice. The point is, the clickbait ecosystem, especially figures like Tim and Jeremy, immediately latched onto the story because they knew it would generate engagement. And what made it worse is how obvious it became that neither of them had actually read the material they were discussing. Now, it's one thing to say, here's what people online are claiming. I haven't reviewed anything yet. We'll wait for more information. See how that works, people? You just do that. I know, honesty. It's honesty. It really is. That would be at least intellectually honest. Instead, both of them simply went on air and declared she's lying. I'm glad she's shitting on Tim Pool because Tim Pool, I think, doesn't get enough shit for how much of a crappy fucking streamer he is and how much of a fucking lazy one that he is. I'm glad that we're calling that out more. Right now, he's going to get shielded because of his buddy Jeremy fucking Hambley. You know, I know he treats him like an afterthought as he should, but Tim Pool is no better than Jeremy Hambley in my opinion. Like, absolutely not. He's just less of an embarrassment than Jeremy Hambley, if that makes any sense. All right, no evidence presented to their audience. I never got a phone call, text, or email for a statement. No invitation to respond, nothing. Despite both of them having known me personally for years. Tim for over a decade. But I think they understood something very important. Accuracy doesn't matter in this ecosystem. It doesn't. They haven't cultivated audiences that consume long-form nuance or thoughtful analysis. They've cultivated audiences trained to absorb prepackaged opinions about headlines like babies being airplane-fed orange paste. Yup, abso-fucking-lutely. And there is perhaps no more profitable headline than dumb bitch lies about rape. That is like the truest statement. No one cares if it's true or not. It's about the engagement of it. See, what gets you more engagement? The idea that you could sit there and go, wow, this girl was assaulted and talk about how uncomfortable, or what we all want to hear. This chick lied and she's just trying to slander some fucking dude. And as a guy that talks about false accusations regularly and how much I hate it, this is a true statement. And I can't stand the way that people have not understood the right way to talk about these discussions, which is you go in neutral, and if evidence sways you one way, fine, but you have to go in and actually read the case. I would still say my best advice, stay neutral until you honestly get the fucking like 100% go that this is all like legit. Like with David, I made it a point with the David situation involving him and that poor girl. I said, as much as I want to sit there and take the idea that he killed her off face value, I have to wait till the evidence takes place and let the oh my god, I apologize. Let the investigators do their job and actually sit there and do it the right way. Excuse me, I'm doing the settings now. Oh my fucking god. Actually, I shouldn't. Anyways. I have to let the investigators do their job. The investigators are there to do their job, do the right thing, and absolutely sit there and what's the word? And prove the case that it needs to be proven in terms of whether David did it or not, right? And I said and told all these dumb fucking kids, you're being emotional and you're going off to the police department, and the detectives, you don't realize that they're building a giant case. If they're taking this long, they're probably collecting shitloads of evidence. And lo and behold, I was right. You dumb little fuckers were wrong as per usual. I mean, what a shock, right? But anyways, I just wanted to say that, you know, that's the way you should do it with these cases, but no one does that. They haven't, and they're, okay, I said, but yeah, as you can see, this is the thumbnail of that video that apparently Quartering, I bet now is taken down. I bet he's taking this shit down now. Actually, you don't think. Hold up. Let me take a minute. Let's do that. Let's go find this shit right now. Yeah, let's go fucking find it. Let's go fucking find it. If it's there, he really is one dumb fuck. Please tell me it's here. Oh my god, it's still here! Yes!
Well, this is interesting.
Yes! Yes! Let's fucking go! He actually is dumb! Yo, no fucking way. No fucking way. It's still here. What an absolute moron. Hold up, we gotta read the recent comments. It's gotta be... Whoa, buddy! Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, man. Everyone, I'm gonna... Oh, my God. We gotta put this on the community post. It's gotta be put in the community post. What an absolute moron. He actually is dumb. Wow. Anyways, anywho's, any what's it's. Whoa, fucking buddy. The most revealing part is that they didn't even bother getting the basic facts right. Jeremy outright claimed, first on X, before deleting the posts, but didn't delete the video, that I never went to the police, had zero evidence, and fabricated everything for money. Every single one of those claims was already directly addressed in chapter 1. In chapters I released publicly for free. He also leaned on Tommy Robinson saying that I lied. I responded to Tommy point by point and debunked him publicly. Since then, Tommy has done what these people usually do when specifics enter the conversations. Ignore the rebuttal and moved on. Yep. Then there's Tate, whose response was essentially she's lying, despite repeatedly threatening legal action. He still hasn't managed to send something as simple as a cease and desist. because then Discovery comes into play, and you know how Tate would not want to sit there and actually go into that type of world when it comes to his past, right? You bald fuck. I hate that motherfucker, man. He's such a piece of shit. Of course, Jeremy won't mention any of that because actually engaging with evidence would interrupt the performance. He skimmed a few sentences that could be clipped into a convenient Lauren Bad narrative, then spent the rest of the segment whining that I declined his very generous job offer. For the record, it was $200 a week. I want you to sit with that one. $200 a week. And naturally, after all that, he called me a dumb whore. Par for the course, though. I do wish my critics would occasionally surprise me with a new insult. The material is getting stale. As I walked past his booth, I could feel myself staring holes through him while he rambled to his live stream audience of 5 people. Confidently wrong about something as usual, I'm sure. Yep. Oh, she gets it. And for a brief moment, I seriously considered walking directly into frame, pulling up a chair beside him with a giant grin on my face, and making him explain the details of a case he had confidently monetized without apparently spending even 4 consecutive minutes of researching. I really wish, Lauren, that you did this for all of us A-logs. Lauren, I really wish we could go make a time machine and actually have you do this for every one of us and our enjoyment. I don't think Triple P would be alive today if that happened. He would have honestly orgasmed. I think he would have orgasmed to death. Like, he would have absolutely ascended into pure base orgasming. I mean that. I don't think he would have actually lived. I think he would have honestly, like, you know how, like, Blue died in Old School? Remember that movie Old School and Old Man Blue? That's how Triple P would have died. It would have been, like, on stream, and he's dead. Because he couldn't handle all, like, the juicy Kino at once. It's too much of a Kino overload. It's a Kino overdose. And once that happens, he's dead. It's a guy big as Triple P? Yeah, he's not going to make it. I like Triple P here, man, but we all know he has to know his limits, man. And he knows his limits. Unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. He's not going to make it, brother. He's just not going to make it. I'm saying all this, and I hope no one... Don't actually, no, send it to him, because he would actually agree with me on every point that I just said. He wouldn't last. It's just too much Kino orgasming, bro. It's too much. How could I'm struggling at the thought of how hilarious that would be. I would just die laughing. Anyways, I could feel myself staring holes into him. Blah, 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 blah. I said all this, and for a brief, I did say all this. Holy shit! Hold on. Okay, I grumbled and thought better of it. No, that wasn't better. No, do not take the high road on this. You should not have taken the high road. You should have been petty as fuck. You should have been so petty. No. I wasn't trying to turn myself into a spectacle again. No, it would have been based. Spectacle, you would have been based. You would have been a fucking hero. And now, you would have been an ultimate hero. Girl, I'm telling you, this would have been based. I'm trying to become more mature now. It is mature to actually do this on camera. In my opinion, it's what was needed. Allegedly, part of maturity, unfortunately, seems to involve suppressing one's natural instincts for blood sports. I mean, someone said they cut their teeth on blood sports. Isn't that right, Jeremy? So instead, I wandered back across the street to the hotel where I was staying with my friend Caroline and spent the next hour getting ready for a party that evening, mentally chewing on the question of where exactly the line exists between defending yourself and getting permanently trapped inside the outrage machine. Is it actually healthy to let people lie about you to massive audiences without consequences? It's not. Or does trying to correct every lie just condemn you to the endless public mud wrestling? There's a fine line, but there are egregious actions such as Jeremy Hambley that should be addressed by you, and I think you did the right thing here. Are people like the quartering, endless online gossiping, rage farming, confidently lying into microphone for profit? Yes. Simply an unavoidable feature of the internet now? Yes. And if you fight back, you just end up dragged into the same swamp? Yeah, but you know what? Look now what's happening, Lauren. Eventually it all gets dragged out. You know the saying, never wrestle pigs. They enjoy it. You just get filthy. The thing is, though, Jeremy doesn't actually enjoy it. Jeremy's a pussy. Always has been. So, that's actually not true. Like, yeah, Triple P and Andy Worski, yeah, they enjoy that shit. The Kino Casino enjoy that shit. They're the pigs. You're damn right. Triple P, especially. He lives for that shit. I live for this shit. I live to argue retards. I live to be an asshole. You're damn fucking right. But you know what? I don't say? I don't act as though I'm better than anyone else doing this. I'm not. I'm really not. The problem with Jeremy, the quartering, he thinks he's better than everyone else. I apologize for the cough. I have allergies, so it's been bad. And I've developed them later in life, and I don't know why I've developed allergies. I'm hating it. Even the cats, I've developed more of an allergy to. Maybe I've always had it. I don't know. But my little boy gives me an itchy left eye. I love Robin, but he gives me a little. And I don't care. I will fight the itchy left eye. It's pollen season though. It doesn't happen all year round. It's just during pollen season of, you know how that is. Spring sucks. And if you fight back, you just end up being okay. I never really figured out where the correct balance lies. That night, I went to James O'Keefe's party and immediately found myself surrounded by a million faces I recognized from internet land. Self-appointed Groyper generals. Oh, God, imagine being those losers. Trad LARP accounts made flesh. Did you see Sarah Stock? Conspiracy schizoids. Influencers I've known since the 2015-2016 era of political internet insanity. Every interaction was positive, or at least positive on the surface. And to be fair, there were absolutely people that I genuinely liked. Some nerds I actually do like. I don't know who these are, and I don't care. But unfortunately, no offense to these people. I'm sure they're nice people. I don't know who they are. But unfortunately, I have an extremely good memory when it comes to the internet. I'd missed a lot during my hiatus, but during the peak of my cancellation in late 2024, I was still terminally online enough to remember exactly what many people had said about me. There are only a handful of these types who actively said hello as they smiled and reached out to shake my hand. Lauren, huge fan of your work. We should catch up sometime. Want to take a photo? I could practically see their old tweets floating above their heads like subtitles. Dude, someone needs to make an actual like an actual documentary style show that actually shows exactly what you just described, with the absolute tweet of them shitting on you reaching above their fake ass heads. I'm not going to read any of this because I don't want to age restricted, but you guys can read it right here. Right about here. Haha, get fucked. Hope she never comes back. Oh, okay, cool. I can't really say this part. Dumb S word was never really... I hate YouTube, okay? I fucking hate it. I really hate their algorithm because I don't know what's going to get fucked. And then I'd smile warmly and shake their hands back. Ew. Part of me felt I couldn't really judge them as cowards when I was also choosing not to say anything back. But the larger part of me simply could not be bothered. I kept wandering away from crowds throughout the night to observe things from a distance. At one point, I sat at the bar with an old fan of my work who said he used to watch my videos in high school. We laughed at how ancient that suddenly made me feel. And then we both watched as a woman in lingerie performed burlesque in a giant martini glass for a roaring conservative audience. How conservative. Despite how absurd the whole scene was, in some ways it felt more honest than the actual conference. I don't recall James O'Keefe ever pretending to be some steward of traditionalism in any way. I don't believe he is. Eventually, Caroline and I wandered back to the hotel, stayed awake, talking, until we both passed out. The next day was more of the same. A few interviews, lunch with friends, more wandering, observing. That evening, I was heading to grab dinner, and then I glanced into a crowded restaurant and spotted a few familiar faces together in the corner. And there he was. Jimmy, the quartering on the port side, sitting with members of his team alongside a few old friends I recognized from Timcast. Notice that Tim Pool, honestly, is a genius. He said, "I'm not going to this fucking event." That he would have saved himself from getting cooked here, because he would have got cooked. Because Jeremy's one thing, she thinks Jeremy's a loser. I guarantee you that Timcast had a fucking booth. I bet money, serious legit money on this. She would have went live on camera and confronted him. She would have cooked him live on camera. I am truly convinced of that. It's one thing to say, Jeremy's a loser, who gives a fuck? But Timcast? Oh yeah. Timcast is catching that fade, bruh. Tim Pool's catching that fade on live camera. The part of me wondering whether I was about to make a spectacle of myself suddenly died. There weren't even cameras rolling. Could it really be that bad? The mischievous little imp living inside me, the one that has, over the years, contributed to me being banned from multiple countries, slowly began curling the corner. How are you banned from multiple countries? That's kind of fucking hilarious. Corners of my mouth upward as I made a beeline for his table. I grabbed a chair from a nearby high top, dragged it across the floor, slid directly across excuse me, from Jeremy with a grin. Oh, I can just imagine his look on his face of just like, oh shit, oh shit, just like oh god. He's just sitting there like he just shit his pants. On what he likes doing anyways, but this isn't the type of good shit his pants that he likes. Well, look who it is. Jeremy looked like he just seen a ghost. He physically tried to look away from me, pussy. So I said, still smiling, why'd you make that video about me? What video? Oh, you dumb pussy. This video, you... No, what the hell? Sorry, that was annoying. No. This video, you fucking coward. What you mean, what video? Da loca. What you mean, what video? What you mean, what? Look at you, you dumb goofy fuck. What the fuck? Anyways. You know, the one where you AI generated me pregnant with Andrew Tate's child. Oh, he shrugged awkwardly. That's just the business. You get it. Oh, my God. Oh, okay, Jer. Okay, Jer. Okay, Jer. Let's do that. All right, my bad for all that. I took out my fucking big ass like tower of plugs. I'm so sorry. I gotta fix my whole setup here with that. Like my desk is almost complete, but I gotta like get the power. It's not like a power strip; it's a power tower. If you know what I mean. One of those big fucking power towers, and I hit it with my chair, and it took out everything. I'd like to apologize. Anyways, back to what I was saying. All right, but yeah. That's just the business. You get it. Oh, really, Jeremy? That's just the business. That's just the business. So when the Kino Casino is talking about your fucking wife, when the Kino Casino is talking about banging your wife, bro, talking about how your wife was pile drive, talking about how your wife, whatever. You know the hypocrisy. So it's just a business, Jer. Isn't it? So the Kino Casino is just doing business. Ah, see how that doesn't work, motherfucker? You're a piece of shit, Jer. No, not really. I actually don't. Why'd you lie and tell your audience I never went to the hospital or the police? Well, he stammered, I don't really know the case that well. It's incomplete. Then why the fuck did you speak on it? I blinked at him. I love that she put that detail of that. Just I can imagine she's sitting there like with her fucking like. Imagine you have your hand on a table, right? And you just look at someone with the most sarcastic, smiled look on your face, and you just do this little blink. Bink, bink, bink. Really? Like, oh, like you know that Willy Wonka meme where you just like, oh, really? That one. That is how she had to have sat there and sort of looked at him like, you don't say, you dumb fuck. What an absolute fucking douche, bro. Then why did you make a video about it? The table had gone completely silent at this point. I would have sat there and said, well, answer her, bitch. I would have been instigating the whole time. I did go to the police. I did go to the hospital. And I'm literally testifying in multiple cases. Oh, really? He muttered. I didn't know that. No shit. Well, it really wasn't about that anyways. That's even more pathetic. I heard you were talking shit about me in some group chat. Jeremy, you're pathetic. Oh my God. You're so pathetic. You suck so hard. I actually laughed. As you should. Wait, you made a video lying about a human trafficking case, called me a... I'm not going to say it. I might have said it earlier in the video anyways, but I just don't trust YouTube, man. I've been age restricted way too many times and edited me pregnant because you heard I said something mean about you in a group chat. By the way, I really hate censoring myself. I'm disgusted in YouTube. Yeah, he said defensively. I don't like being betrayed. How are you betrayed? Is that betrayal? And by the way, you call that betrayal. What do you call what you did to her? Show me the message, she says. Yeah, show us the message, Jer. Prove it. At this point, the entire table was frozen in awkward silence while I leaned forward, pressing him for answers. Jeremy sat fumbling with his phone while his co-host Melanie Max stared at him from the side with the expression of someone watching a slow-motion car accident. I can imagine her same, like, big-eyed stare into space, not understanding what the fuck's going on. The problem is Melanie always looks like that because she's dumb. Like, Melanie is one of those chicks that, honestly, she's just dumb as fuck. She's just dumb. So, she just looks... the worst way is she's not actually dumb. I know inside information about this woman from people that work with her at Best Buy. I'm not going to divulge the information because that's not my information to share. But she's not dumb. She's just ditzy. But she's not dumb, you know? But I can imagine that same old cow-eyed stare of, huh? Yeah. Sorry. Anyways. Anyways, he scrolled for what felt like several full minutes before sighing. Good old Jer sigh. I don't know. I can't find it. Anyways, when the case is done, I'll make an apology video, okay? Where's the apology video? And you need to take this one down. So I highly doubt that. Yeah, sure, buddy, I said. We'll see if that ever happens. Knowing it was never going to happen because it's Jeremy fucking Hambley. He has no integrity. I will, he insisted. I mean it. Yeah. I'm sure you do, buddy. Sure you do, bud. Yeah, sure, buddy. I didn't believe him then, and I definitely don't believe him now. No shit. As of last week, the case has already been pushed back another year due to police opening a new investigation involving additional evidence. That's how these things always go. The people who farmed the initial outrage never have to meaningfully correct themselves because there's always another excuse to delay accountability indefinitely. Yes. The clicks already happened. That's the only part that really mattered. I left the table and wandered back toward the hotel, feeling admittedly pretty smug about the interaction, as you should. You basically bent him over a table, sweetheart, and I'm proud of you for that. There's something deeply satisfying about watching a man who confidently broadcasts opinions to hundreds of thousands of people immediately collapse into awkward mumbling the second he's confronted in real life. Exactly. But even then, none of it actually felt like justice. Oh, don't worry. Justice has been coming very, very steadily, sweetie. I think the justice is hitting up right now. Justice is here now. Nobody at the table stood up and said, wow, that's actually a horrific thing to do to someone. No, they're all cowards. Nobody walked away from working with him. Nobody corrected the record. The video stayed up. Again, yeah. And honestly, I understand why. Because everyone in these systems, including me, has an infinite supply of explanations for their own behavior. I need my career. I need access to powerful people. They're misunderstood. They're trying their best. Fuck off. Human beings have endless moral outrage for the sins of strangers and endless extenuating circumstances for their own. And that will end part 2. I'm going to do a part 3 to actually talk about the Kino Casino part of this, which is really fucking funny. But I'm sorry for the technical difficulties in this video. I will edit this. And thank you. You know what? Will I edit it? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know.